with the other one? Okay, cool. Yay!
Okay, let's start.
Be back. Yeah, we rolling.
Okay. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Quarter Life Chapters. I'm Alina.
And I'm Annie. And we are so glad to have you here with us on this episode.
Yeah, we used our full names today.
Yeah, true. No, I actually said Annie.
Whoops. No, you said, did you?
Yeah. Another one.
Another one.
So, Elle, what did you get up to this week? What was the highlight of the season?
It's been good. Annie hosted a pool party.
Yeah, I had a little pool party yesterday where obviously I had everyone over and I cut some watermelons for everyone.
Yo, that was
Because
good.
It was the watermelon season, and shout out to this grocery vendor at the Western markets because your veggies and your fruits, they be bussin'.
Damn.
They really be good. This watermelon was so juicy and filled with water. It was just a...
Who would have thunk? I had dinner with one of our friends. It went really, really well.
I love it. What did you guys
Yeah.
talk about?
Like everything, like I'm close to her close friends and she's close to my close friends, but we're never really
Close to each other. Yeah.
So it was good. Like I finally knew like what career that she's doing.
Oh no!
I didn't know like which branch
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
career.
like
and
what-
then so we just like talk about a bunch of different stuff, and I don't know, it's just very refreshing because like I've never been a one-on-one friend. I've always been a group friend. So
As we
this is
talked
like
about
a
in
new
the
me.
last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alright, Elle, so what are we talking about today?
We're talking about learning to let go of the past.
Sometimes you get really hung up on the things that have happened in your life, and then it becomes difficult for you to like be in the present. This would be a good time to, you know, just learn how you can let go of like shit that doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they don't serve you,
Bye.
Bye.
The only one serving should be yourself, and that's it.
You tell them.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Let yourself cook. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
we keep getting distracted. By the way, speaking of distraction, like literally look at my ceilings. Those are like freaking bugs. Yeah,
They were there last time as well. Where are they coming from?
I don't know. They just keep growing. My brother
Yeah.
like vacuumed the whole thing.
Oh, and this
But
thing
it
came
came
back.
back.
Do you wonder if it could be mold? Because if it's mold, you should definitely.
No, because I climbed up to pin the curtains and you can see. Like if you step up on here, you
Yeah.
can see that it's bugs. Like, see?
Oh, fuck. The spider be eating good.
I know. Anyway, speaking of getting distracted.
Yeah,
let's get distracted.
clearly. A lot of us do hold on to, you know, past relationships or the ways of working that has worked for like the previous generation and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think with this topic again. Yeah, so okay, it all comes down to self-awareness. So you gotta realize what are you holding on to and what should you let go.
Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, it really comes down to you having like a bit of an audit of where you are in your life.
Yeah.
And if you feel like a bit miserable, or if you, I think the most important part is that if you think that you are looking behind with like rose-colored glasses,
Yeah.
like if you're thinking, oh my god, high school was so much fun, or you know,
I know.
first year of college was so much fun, or I just wish I could be back to like 2018 or something.
Yeah.
That kind of shows that you are not living in the present, because instead of trying to find things in your current life, you're trying to go back and think
Yeah.
about all the wonderful things that happened back then.
Mhm.
The more you live in the past, the more sort of pain you create for yourself in the present,
Yeah.
because you will always be comparing things that are happening in your life to something else
Yeah.
that's frankly gone. Like, you know, you can't turn back time. You can't, like, I don't know if this is a tough pill to hear, but you can't go back in time, you know, like this
Yeah,
is
tough pill to hear. The pill be like, hey yo, you're not letting go of the past.
So I think recognizing that and realizing that
Yeah.
most of the time the nostalgia comes not from how good the time was, but because at the current moment you're not having a fun time, so you're just like romanticizing the past.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to do it from time to time. Like when you look through photos and you're like, oh, this was a good time.
Yeah.
But you don't like constantly think about, oh my gosh, I want to go back to 2018 because
Yeah.
that's such a good time. Again, balance.
Balance, self-awareness, self-reflection, just
Yeah.
like note it down in your vocabulary,
I
those
know.
words.
Yeah, from Annie and Elle.
Yeah, from Annie and Elle.
But yeah, like as long as you know, like, whoa.
Whoa. as long as you know nothing, it's okay.
As I feel like as long as you are happy in your current state and you don't look back and like hold that kind of grudge and be like, oh my god, like you know.
You know, funny thing, I met a friend at the markets recently, and then he just like randomly popped out of nowhere, and then we started talking about it, and then I was telling him, because he recently went back to the uni where we studied. He went there and he was telling how much fun it was, and it's got to be 10 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10 years.
You're so right.
Yeah, it's been 8 years since I was in the first year of uni. And in 2 years, it's gonna be 10 years since I was in the first year of uni. So it's like crazy.
We're
I know,
old.
we are old. No wonder, bro. We are doing a podcast. No, but so he ended up telling me that he went there and it was like a whole different. Like he really enjoyed it. And you know what I said? I said that we should do a reunion after 10 years. That's what I said.
I think that would be cool.
That'd be so much fun. And then he said, "I'm surprised that you're telling it." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because you hated it." And I didn't hate it, but there were aspects about like my first college that I didn't like necessarily.
Yeah.
But when he mentioned it, I was like, yeah, it's right. Because for a very long time, I was kind of hung up over the fact that, oh, this went wrong there and that went wrong there. But now I kind of just want to have a reunion with everyone and just see where everyone is. Because I don't hold that grudge anymore, of like, you did that or you did this. And even he was like, oh, this is great. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing you say that. So I feel like this topic came at the right time in the way that, letting go of like all the stuff. After a while, you just grow up, and you just want to meet the people that you sort of grew up with and just see what they're up to in their life, And a little reunion with everyone would be kind of nice.
I think that would be really cool. I think I would also love a high school reunion.
Right?
I just want to see where everyone is. And like, I don't keep in contact with a lot of my friends anymore, but it would be nice to have a conversation.
Yeah. You look back and you do think fondly about those memories, right? You do like think about it and we had fun over here, we did some crazy shit over there, so it's like it's nice to reconnect with like your old mates and just like catch up once in a while. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, we have to become besties again, but it's nice to see that we all started from like this place. We all came here as new students. We didn't know anyone, and then you sort of build a life around there and found family and everything. So I think it's good to look back to fond memories, but in a way where you're just like appreciating and smiling and reminiscing, but not to the point where you get upset. Where you kind of ditch your current life in the favor of how good it was back then and how amazing it was back then. Like, we don't want that. We want to have that good appreciation for the past, but also that presence in our current life.
Yeah. Speaking of high school, I know a lot of people, or like some people, who
it's a lot of people
who have peaked in like high school or uni.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I just want to go back.
They're still riding the high of that peak.
I miss that. And like, oh yeah, sure, you were like popular, blah blah blah, but like, okay, time to move on.
I know, like, how long can you live in the glory days of like high school? Eventually you have to grow old,
Oh yeah, so recently Annie showed me this guy on Hinge, because
yeah,
and then but he's like, I think like 26 or 27 years old. And then in my head, immediately I was like, holy shit, he's old. Like, ew, you're dating such an old dude. And then I was like, wait, we're 25 and 26.
Ourselves, yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Where did
we
the
are
time
the
go?
age.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, oh, 27 is not too old.
Yeah, it's fine. It's an applicable age. I think I was telling somebody about this guy that I was seeing, and he was 29. And somebody was like, oh my god, he's so old. And then I'm like, no, he's just like 3 years older than me. And then the person is like, what? She was shook. And for like 5 minutes, she's like, oh yeah, that's not old. But that is old. It's like a physical dilemma.
I know, I can't believe it.
I'm a 26-year-old teenager, like I said. I'm a girl.
We are.
Just a baby.
How do our parents like give birth at like 25 or like 24?
Dude, my mom had me when she was as old as I am right now. And I'm like, how did you do this? Because I know you were a baby.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny, like time is a construct, and literally when it flies away and like you've lived a few years and then you look back, it was crazy. Like, like the kind of lifestyle that we had when you're a bit younger and your brain is not developed. Hey, nothing wrong with it. You just get there. But you just do stupid stuff, and I'm saying this as somebody who has done stupid stuff. It's like, you think that, I don't know, maybe you're just like more romantic about life when you're a bit younger. Like, you romanticize everything a bit too much, but then you grow older and you're like, you know what? It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
IRL, real life adulting is just like, it's fun and you have a lot of money.
Free will.
You have free will, yeah. But it's also like, ignorance is bliss. And then when you don't know a lot of things about how the universe works, you are kind of like, oh, what is this? What is that? You're excited. But then as you're older, you're like, no, a lot of things make sense. If you do this, you'll get that. You do that, you'll get this. So the excitement and the, what do you call it, mysteriousness kind of vanishes
Yeah.
away. And I think that's why people look back, because, they don't know
I
any
think that's
better.
how, yeah.
Because real life, like, once you become older, you're like, you have to do things.
Yeah.
Back then, things would just like magically happen.
Yeah, and also I feel like the previous episode I did talk about this of like people are afraid to grow up.
Yeah,
so
you
that could
did.
be it as well.
That could be it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because responsibilities and all that stuff is not easy. That's why we're doing this podcast. You know why? Because responsibilities doesn't mean that they have to, like, take over your life. Like, we are responsible towards doing this episode, but we make a fun day out of it.
Yeah.
So the best thing about being in the current environment and growing where you are right now is that you get to choose how you
Yeah.
want to deal with it. Like, instead of living in the past or future, just be in the moment.
Yeah.
Live in the present.
Yeah. Well, they're not afraid of growing. But yeah, also we want to touch on practicing detachment. So like becoming aware of what's not serving your growth anymore. Just let it go.
What does detachment mean to you exactly? Because just in case somebody wants to.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have a better
Definition.
So yeah, what does detachment mean to you?
I think practicing detachment could possibly mean like not getting too attached to the outcome of a situation. In your current life where you are right now, a lot of the things are in your control, and so you are very emotionally involved with the outcome of what happens,
yeah.
right? But a lot of the times when you're too stressed out about a certain outcome, you forget to live in the moment and you worry because you're more stressed about what's going to happen, how's it going to turn out, So I think practicing detachment in this situation means like not being too worried about the outcome of whatever happens.
I read somewhere that says if you worry about something in advance, you might be worrying twice.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Of course, I feel like this is easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's so many things where like I like in my brain I'm like, do not worry. I feel like it is out of your control, but in my heart it's like anxiety. But yeah, like just like noticing that and then like telling yourself like
that's coming back to that self-awareness fact that even though you cannot necessarily control your emotions, just knowing that okay, this is how it can go and this is how I can react. I think just having self-awareness in general is gonna help you just be present in the moment.
Next thing that we want to talk about is letting go of relationships.
Yeah,
like
that's
friendships, relationships. Like sometimes people have hurt you, and sometimes it is time to move on.
Yeah, sometimes you can't keep trying to work on a relationship that is already gone.
Yeah, so again, like when it comes to that, you gotta learn that this person or this friend group or whatever is not serving your growth anymore, and it's okay to like forget about it and not hold the grudge, because I feel like holding grudges is like it's like a silent killer.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because you're still dealing with the pain of that grudge holding, you've not processed it, so you need to like learn how to deal with that feeling and then let it go, because like holding on is only gonna hurt you
literally
in the long
for
term.
what?
I think one of the biggest point where this might apply is like breakups, especially for a long-term relationship.
When we're talking about like relationships and breakups, funny because we haven't talked about relationships in this episode.
Yeah.
And we talk about breakups. But I feel like to deal with breakups is like you need to spend more time with yourself. You gotta learn how to date yourself.
Yeah.
It's like the eat, pray, love
situation. Absolutely. When you get alone and you have nothing to think and you miss that companionship, what are you gonna think about? The good times, of course, right? So you're not gonna think about the time that he did not load the dishwasher and then you had to take out all the garbage for 1 week straight or some shit like. But yeah, so you won't think about that, you will think about the time when you went to watch a movie or went on a drive, and you're gonna think about more about the good memories, right?
Yeah, I think it's also just like distracting yourself. Like do not lock yourself in a room. Sometimes locking yourself in a room, you're just like thinking too much about like the good times, blah blah blah. What you should really do is, if you want to grow out of it, explore. You need to be around things or around places that have movement and life. Like you're not seeing the sky, you're not seeing the trees, you're not around like living things, and you're already in a sad mood, and like being in a room in a sad mood is just gonna make you feel even worse. If you have that energy inside of you and you're feeling not good and like you're thinking about the past too much, pack a bag and go out. Like just go out and sit in the park as well. You don't even have to do anything. Just sit in the park, listen to the birds, look at some trees, look at some life around you. So
bring yourself back to that present moment. Again, life only moves forward. It doesn't move backward. So you have to find ways. I wish I could tell you that things magically get better. They don't. They only get better when you make that effort for it to get better. Like, time does heal all wounds, but what you do at that time also matters a lot. You have to, even if you don't want to, you'll have to push yourself a bit to, no, I'm gonna go out today. I'm gonna just sit in the grass. I'm just gonna touch some grass, and think about what I want to do next instead of thinking about what's already done, what's already happened.
An advice that someone once told me, and now I tell other people, is that there's always someone better out there. And you think, oh my gosh, I can't ever get over my ex because he is so good, or she is so good, or they are so good. There's always someone better. Trust me.
There is. The only person who's stopping the new beginning from coming in is you, if you're living in the past. Like, you've got to, if a door closes, let it move different directions. There's like so many doors that's gonna open up in your life. If you look for opportunity, the opportunity will come to you. Like, you have to be looking for it.
That also applies for jobs as well.
The more you think about the negative stuff, the more the negative stuff is gonna like stay in your life,
Yeah, it's gonna pile on.
You have to get into the mindset of just like pushing all of that aside and moving forward. Not to say that don't deal with your emotions, of course. Take some time, and if it gets too much, obviously deal with your emotions. But after that, like, don't just rot in them. Like, after you have done the dealing, you have to get yourself out of it. And if you find people in your life who are helping you out, and who've made your life happy and all, then lean into them, like, because I think your friends and the people in your life who love you will want to support you, will want to help you out. So don't be afraid of just like leaning onto them a bit, not too much, but like lean onto them.
Another kind of letting go is, I don't know about all the listeners, but sometimes like you don't get along with your parents or like stuff like that, and
Relatives.
sometimes there are stuff that you gotta let go or like learn to let go. So like me and Annie were just joking about this. Like, our family, like our parents, like we couldn't deal with like the wokeness of the society. Like, bro, why does Netflix gotta have like every single sort of character out there? Like,
like sex education.
Literally that TV show, like they have like all kinds of people.
Dude, the funniest shit about that show, like random tangent, is that in the fourth season, they just shove like everything.
And bro, I stopped watching after season 4. Like season 4, I think I watched like 2 episodes, and I was just like, this is too much.
It doesn't even feel realistic. Like, that's not how real world is. Like, I love that you want to be woke, but that is not how you do wokeness. Like, by shoving everything into the same thing.
So I can see, like, if our parents were to see that, they'd probably be like, bro, what the heck is this? Like, this is like unheard of. But then like there's
this is like unheard of.
because to them it's like, bro, this is like, wow.
What is it?
But then for us, right, our generation, looking at like the younger generation with like the skibbity toilet.
Oh my god.
Like,
bro, the skibbity. What is that?
Like, we would have looked at them and be like, oh my gosh, like,
what is wrong?
How do we accept this? So I feel like that's how our parents look at our generation. Being
that's
like,
true. That makes so much sense.
So I feel like it is really important to like grow as like a person where you find acceptance. Like, sometimes this is how I see it, right? If it's not hurting anyone, go for it. You know, like, you can be whoever you want to be, and people will accept you just the way you are. But like, the people who are gonna accept that needs to know that, like, they're not hurting anyone. They're just doing their own thing, and that's so fun. That's so like, fun, it doesn't affect me.
Maybe like understanding where they're coming from, like, your family.
That's true.
Like, seeing their point of view as well. If you see your perspective and you can communicate that perspective to like your family and stuff, good. If they don't listen, move on, because like you can't really change their mind. You know, at the end of the day, it is your life, and you have to live true to who you are as a person. I think another thing why we maybe don't like where we are at and we think so much about the past is because perhaps as we have grown older, we have settled for a lot of mid things in our life. Like, maybe you thought that you were capable of like a much better job, and then you have like a mid paying job and you don't like a job, but then you also settle for it, right? So that's why your life is not happy at the moment, because you kind of settle for it. And not to say that quit, not to say that if this is your source of income and you can't quit realistically, then don't. But you have to do right by sort of that inner child who saw all the dreams. If you're gonna settle for mid friends, mid job, mid man, like all the mid kind of thing, obviously you're gonna be looking back at the past thinking, oh my god, time was so much better. So definitely do an audit of the relationship in your life and just see if these relationships actually make you happy, and if they
Yeah.
don't, then you have that choice to make that decision that maybe these are the relationships I don't want to carry on in my
Yeah.
life, because I want to actually have a happy life and not just think about how happy my life could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just gotta realize how capable you are and how capable you can be.
Yeah. Also, I guess we talked about how not to live in the past. So
Yeah.
what are some of the points, like just rounding this up as a conclusion,
Yeah.
we can just talk about what are the points.
So okay, we did talk about letting go of like your own
Yeah.
personal struggles or like your own personal like whatever.
Yeah.
So that was personal, that was relationships, that friendships and family.
Yeah.
And I just wanna just throw it in there as well. Like I feel like it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
You know,
Oh my
like
god,
learning
yes.
to let go is such a like I feel like there is a lot of things that we can talk about as always. But
learning to let go can be like a very big experience.
yeah,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
If people are there to help, like seek help, there's always someone there to help.
Yeah.
Your
absolutely.
friends, family, therapists, lifeline centers, whatever.
If you're feeling really like trapped, if you feel like your current life is not giving you that joy and stuff, you can talk about it with somebody.
Yeah.
You can talk about it with like friends, family, therapist, and find ways on how you can come back, and try to find meaning in life again and find joy again.
Definitely find something that you are looking forward to. Like
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
it's like a little activity during the weekend or something. Like
like
it's
a
always
hobby.
it's always
Yeah.
nice to have something to look forward to.
Like a concert, or like even chilling with friends or something. Just like having something that you're looking forward to can make a big difference, because you're happy about something that's upcoming. I would also say one thing that you can do is like just to see how you've grown over the many years. Every year, end of the year or something, you could do like a little tracking, where you can track how much you've grown, things that you mentioned that you were gonna do or attempt to do, how much of it were you able to do, or some of the new things that you you brought out of yourself. All right, guys, we had a bit of a technical difficulty and the phone just died, so we are gonna do the outro part 2.
Okay, so so we were talking about tracking our growth, and one thing that me and my boyfriend does is we've got this tradition where every end of the year after New Year's, we would record a little recording of the year in review.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we will talk about the things that we've done, like together and individually, like stuff that we've achieved, and like places we've visited.
Yeah.
And
all the like fun stuff that you guys got up to.
And like any like friend group drama will be on there as well.
Okay.
And just like
ooh, feel like listening to this.
and like
This
how much
recording.
we've grown as a person, and it's just really nice to like look back at it, because like we will do this every year, right? So like now at the end of the year, we'll listen to the previous year's podcast.
Yeah.
Or like recording, and then
podcast.
and then
Cover podcast.
and then we would listen to that, and then we would like do a new one. So it's like, damn, we've grown so much.
Yeah. I love that. That's like a really good way to track like sort of how far you've come.
And for like anyone who journals or like does, I know some people do like video diaries.
Yeah.
Or like
Vlogs.
journals and stuff like that. It's always nice to like look back and be like, hey, I've achieved so much in life.
I think what I really want to say in conclusion is that even if a door closes, a new door always opens up. Like if you're thinking that, oh my goodness, 2019 was so much fun, I don't think I'm ever gonna have a year like this again. First of all, stop thinking that way, because if you keep thinking that way, then you are gonna a lot of these things are like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think about things are not gonna work out, it will not work out. Yeah. Like
as you gotta have that positive light of like everything that you do. If you like think positively, the positive stuff will
happen to you. Yeah, it's like I don't know how much into spirituality you are, but it's like if you have a high frequency, I guess that's what people say. Like if you have like a high frequency within yourself and you're like a high vibe person, which basically means trying to see the positive in everything, trying to find the silver lining, trying to be like objectively optimistic, things will happen to you in that way, because you are only looking for good stuff. If you're looking for only bad stuff and negative stuff, you're going to be surrounded by that. So at the end of the day, just like trying to focus your energy more towards the good stuff and the fun stuff that you can have and all the ways you can live in the moment. If you do those, then I feel like you will have a higher chance of finding more satisfaction and contentedness in your current life. And that's what we want to leave you with. I
love that.
Okay, so we are kind of shocked that this is the
Ninth.
second last
It's the
episode
second last episode.
of the season, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, because it feels like just a few days back that we were sitting here at Elle's
Yeah,
dining
we're
table.
having like chicken rice.
Yeah, and we were like, you know what, maybe we should do a podcast. And now
Yeah.
we're like almost 9 episodes in.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's crazy.
Well, so we will have another one, and we're gonna talk more about our experiences with the
Yeah,
potty.
so stay tuned
So
for
stay
the
tuned.
last episode.
Yeah, we are so keen to see you, and thanks for joining us for this episode. Bye.